Welcome to Bitter Reality Brewing. This is the first episode, the intro to Beers of the World. Don't forget, like, subscribe, keep sharing. Definitely appreciate the sharing. As our top 10 tips, tricks, recommendations are starting to come to a close, I decided, you know what? I need to come up with another one to kind of do a little series. It may not last as long, but we'll see. Recently, my son has a friend that's from Bosnia, and he took him to a European grocery store. And he sent me a photo of a wall of beer that I had never seen, or had seen almost the majority I had never seen. And I was like, a bottle shop obviously is not the only place to go. And the European grocery stores around here, a few of them seem to cater to bringing beer in to people from other countries that miss the beer that they grew up on or the beer that was from their country. So what a better way to do it than to start going to some of these European grocery stores and buying some of this beer. And I bought one of everything that was on the wall, quite literally, and ended up with a couple sodas, which I've never heard of, and I don't drink soda, but I'm gonna try these. This is like a wheat soda with a hint of rye. This is a dark rye soda. May not make the cut on the beer thing, but it's still pretty cool to me because I like rye, and so. But this is the first of the videos. As you will know, there's a lot of taste testings out there of beers from around the world, whether it's blind tasting or they know what the beer is. My issue with those videos, and I'm not saying good or bad, I like, the information, but the limiting of it is that Budweiser, America, we all know that's not true. There are so many different beers that make up America, and the US is, as I'm saying, North America, not quite Canada, but United States. It's the same thing with Australia, the same thing with Germany, and most people know that about Germany though. England, of course. And when you get into other countries that maybe you're not as familiar with, like, Serbia or Armenia or Estonia, and you think, oh yeah, I have a beer from them. That's not the only beer that's probably made there. There's probably lots of other beers that are made there, both by that brewery and possibly other breweries. So one beer cannot define a country, and that's my point. So this isn't about, hey, all beer in Russia sucks, or all beer in Russia is great and beer in Estonia sucks. No, this is, hey, I like or I dislike this beer, and here's why, and here's what I find interesting or not interesting with this beer, and here's the country it's from. It's going to hopefully educate you a little bit about where some of these countries are, because in the United States, I feel that the majority of us don't know most of Eastern Europe. We understand where Western Europe is. We're very in the news. We're exposed to a lot of information from Western Europe. We are not exposed to a lot of news from Eastern Europe, and a lot of people do not even know where most of these countries are. So I'm going to kind of mention that whenever I'm doing the beer. I'm going to mention the country the beer is from, and I'll do the taste testing. We're not going to do so much of taste testing today, although I will have guest tasters from time to time, like this right here. It's a lager. And just to give you an example, made in 2 different countries. And I'm pretty sure it's the exact same beer. It's a 9.5% lager. And to me, it's overly sweet. It's way too strong. I don't really care for it. It tastes sugary. Well, my son, who's 25, took a taste test and was like, wow, that's an amazing lager. I like that a lot. Tastes a little strong. That's when I told him it was 9.5% ABV. So yeah, everybody's tastes and taste buds are different. Everybody's perception's different. And the point with the sweetness is that when you drink a very high ABV beer, if you haven't already had a few beers between to kind of numb the taste buds, should we say, you will perceive that higher alcohol, especially in beers, as a sugar, and it will taste sweet to you. And that's something to be aware of. Like, we have this bad boy down here, 12%. I'm terrified. It's a lager, I call it an extra lager, but it's 12%. To me, that is insane. Some of the beers that we're gonna focus on, and I'm gonna keep changing it, we'll do Europe, we'll do Australia, we'll do everywhere. But the first few episodes will cover beers from Estonia. People go, where's Estonia? That's south of Finland. So, you got Netherlands, Sweden, Finland, and then Russia. It's right over here. So Serbia, which is south of Hungary, southwest of Romania. I'm hoping that you know where some of these other countries are, and it kind of gives you a placement of where they are. Macedonia, that's just north of Greece, up and a little to the east a tiny bit. Russia, I hope you know where Russia is. Ukraine is just west of Russia, and right now, sadly, I don't know what's going on, but there's a lot of aggression from Russia on the borders of Ukraine. So, you know, y'all need to calm it down, leave each other alone. Let's just rock on, keep making some good beer. Romania, southwest of Ukraine. So you got Russia, Ukraine, so it's down here. Armenia is, if you look where Turkey is, just above Iran and Iraq, all the way over to the right. If you're looking at it on a map, you'll see there's Armenia. It's a very small country. Part of, from my understanding, was part of the whole Russian area at one time. So I watched a documentary on a massive earthquake they had that was quite troubling and upsetting for the amount of people that passed, unfortunately, but to bigger and brighter times. Czech Republic, you've probably heard of Prague, southeast of Germany, and Lithuania. Lithuania is just northeast of Poland, heading up towards the Finland area, but it kind of gives you some perspective. So the majority of the beers that we're going to do initially are going to be from Eastern Europe. And as we progress, we'll cover, like I said, the UK, Ireland, Germany, Australia. I saw beer from New Zealand recently I can get, which is kind of cool. Jamaica, you know, South America. We'll start getting beers from other parts of the world. And I'll try to keep it very narrow and only do a few beers each time. So that way we're not all over the place and we can focus on each of those beers. And if you go, wow, that sounds great, I want one of those. Hopefully you can find it in your locale, or you'll at least know where you might be able to order it online. Some of them that were kind of creative and just kind of got me was most of these Lithuanian beers are actually made by a brewery owned by Anheuser-Busch. So I don't know if Anheuser-Busch is influencing their beer, if they bought a brewery that was existing, if they built a brewery, I don't know. I'll have to research that. But of course they had a very diverse one, and one of the ones I'm dying to try is a Noble Lager with Saaz hops. To me, that just sounds really good. And I'm not a lager fan, and most of these are lagers. I have an amber ale, I have a Baltic porter, I have a brown ale, I have a Hefeweizen. I have a few Hefeweizens in here. I have some reds. This is a Russian beer I picked up the other day, and it's actually a caramel and rye malt brew. So definitely looking forward to that. And there are some darker beers in here. Some of the darker ones are not that dark. There are lots and lots of lagers. Another one that kind of looks like a Hefeweizen. And we'll go through each of these beers and I'll give you my honest opinion. And whenever I can have a guest trying some of the beers, I'll let you know. And there's a dark red, which sounds really good too. I like the darker beers. This one I'm dying. It sounds like it's just a lager, but kind of a cool little can. Wanna say, I can't remember if this is Russia or where this one's from. This one's from Poland. So like I said, we'll cover pretty much all of these beers over time, and we'll keep going from episode to episode. I hope to release one of these every week if I can. And cheers to everybody out there. Thank you again. Don't forget, like, subscribe, keep sharing. And this is episode 1, or the intro to Beers from Around the World. Thank you again.